Yeah, the first time I met Hunter was in Aspen, Colorado, and I just finished my first year of TV on Saturday Night Live, and I got a job for the summer, which was driving the producer's car back from L.A. to New York, his Volkswagen. So I figured I'd take the scenic route, and Aspen wasn't really on the way, but there I was, and the next thing I knew, I was at this pool in the Jerome Hotel, having a great time, you know, just lots of, you know, Aspen's a town you go to for vacation. You have to have a vacation after you return. So I was having a great time, and there was this kind of goofy guy at the pool, and we were having a great time. There were all these goofy girls and goofy people, just having a lot of fun, and we started talking about an escape act, you know, and I said, I think I could do an escape act, you know. So this guy, whom I did not know, said, well, we could just tie you to this chair here, you know, this metal pool chair, and toss you in the pool. I said, that's a good idea. Let's try that. It was just kind of the mood of the time, I think, folks. And so there I was using, they were using socks and shoelaces and stuff, and I was tied to this metal chair. And I said, just before they threw me in, I said, let's just, in case, throw me in where it's about 5 feet deep, so in case I start struggling, I can stand up and get air and go back down, because I really wanted to do it. So I said, okay, so in I went, 5 feet. Well, you're down there at 5 feet, and I'm working the knots, you know, and I think I'd just seen Houdini or something. I'm working the knots. I thought, well, I'm thinking too hard. I'll just grab a quick breath of air, you know, just to revivify myself and just go back down and work on it a little harder. So I stood up, but when you're tied to a chair, you can only stand up like this far. So there I am, like about this far below the surface, and I'm like, oh, nuts. And I'm going, you know, like this. And it took them about an 8 count, really, to realize that I really wanted to be where they were. And so fortunately, Hunter is a really strong guy, and he reached in and with one hand pulled me out of the water, up to the level where I was like, okay, it's a little further down, you know, but I didn't know who he was at the time, and I did trust him with my life, so I think he was touched by that.
And then you wound up doing Where the Buffalo Roam, which is him.
Yes, I ended up playing him pretty much later on. I rented a house in California that was like a party house, you know, and it had a guest house, and I invited him to come out, you know, for research, and he lived in the guest house. But basically, I'd work all day and then come home and stay up all night and then go to sleep for about an hour, and then...
That's pretty much all you need. If you can get an hour, you come out refreshed.
I was pretty good at it. But he helped me, you know. He said, you know, I'd say, geez, I really got to go to sleep. And he'd say, well, the one thing you want in a situation like that where you have to sleep is Scotch and NyQuil. And he would whip up this concoction of, it's half and half, really, for you folks at home that are paying attention or having trouble falling asleep. Scotch and NyQuil will pretty much level you. It's ugly. It's green, you know, but it works.
The question was where the buffalo roams, what he thought of Neil Young's performance and Bill Murray's in the movie. Sort of asking me what I think about Dewsbury. Bill's an old friend, and it's a miracle he still is. Well, they heard me. They bought a short story from me, and then turned it into a movie. And then they hired me to cure it, you know, to rewrite it. Which I went down there and sort of lived with Bill for a few months while we rewrote the beginning and the end, put it on film. I have a whole different film at home. It turned out that they were just humoring us. And it was stupid, it was a cartoon. And yeah, I had a role which was to, I wander around the lot in a 450 red Mercedes and a pickaxe and slamming it through floors, and I was humored more or less. And so was Murray. They knew what they wanted. It was a bad script, a silly film. And I never have seen the finished version.
What about Neil Young?
I never talked to Neil. I like Neil Young. I really, he's one of us. but I didn't like the. I'm not sure who even got Neil Young to do that. That's that music in Buffalo. Yeah, I'll defend Neil Young to the death, but or his right to do anything he wants, but not in my backyard. One of those things. And it was an embarrassing thing. Christ, imagine how it feels to wander around the comic strip, a movie.
About this far below the surface, and I'm like, oh, nuts.